We're gonna go back to Merrill. Merrill Gay, you're up next.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. I had a internet connection problem there. Um, my name is Merrill Gay. I'm the Executive Director of the Connecticut Early Childhood Alliance, and I thank you for this opportunity to testify today on House Bill 5346 and Senate Bill 286, I'm sorry. The Early Childhood Alliance supports the creation of a early education fund, the way that was established in the budget last year. The proposal in House Bill 5346 to use unexpended funds from the school readiness and child development programs is one way to fund this. My written testimony explains that we will need substantially more money than that to make a difference in this problem. I've also submitted written testimony for Senate Bill 286. The three sections there, the wage issue for early educators. You will hear from many childcare providers about their desire to raise wages, but the impact that a mandated raise would have, that it's anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 per child in additional cost that would go to parents. We strongly believe that we need to consider early education as a public good, and we need to have public funding to make that possible. To pit early educators versus parents as far as who gets paid and who has to pay is a real problem here. Finally, I want to focus on Section 2 in Senate Bill 286, which would provide free childcare for early educators. As my testimony explains, we are short 4,000 early educators. That is 1 out of 7 positions vacant. If you thought about that in a public school setting, it would be chaos. You could not function with 1 out of 7 people missing. Early education programs are operating at less than 3/4 capacity because they don't have the staffing. We need to raise wages. That will cost a lot more money. But we also need to think about things that we can do with the resources that we have to attract people and retain people in the workforce. Providing free childcare to early educators is something that Kentucky has done and something that Rhode Island has looked at. Other states are looking at this as a possibility to strengthen the early care workforce, and we need to do that as well. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions from the committee? Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your testimony. Just wondering, in terms of the impact of the lack of access to early childhood, to child care in general, what impact does that have on families trying to work, especially our low-income families that are maybe running out of supplements through the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program?
Not having childcare makes it very difficult to work. We have a lot of families who are having to make do with unlicensed care, family friend and neighbor care, because they haven't been able to access childcare. In my written testimony on Senate Bill 286, there's an interactive map recently produced by United Way 211 that enables you to look at each town and see how many licensed spots there are, how many of those are actually in use and or are available for use, and then how many are actually being used. And across the state, 3/4 of, or more than 1/4 of the licensed childcare is offline. So 40,000 spaces that are licensed are offline and not available for families to use. And that is primarily because programs can't staff up.
Thank you so much for your testimony and your work. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none,